Hey there everybody, and welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Puborama, and in today's video, we are going to be taking a look at the Annis 300R, an Imani Tech sports car, coming in at a very hefty $2 million. That makes it more expensive than the Buffalo STX, and as well the Obey Ominous EGT, both sitting at $1.7 million. However, there's a weird catch to this vehicle, and that is it's only available from now until April 12th, meaning that next update week being Thursday, this vehicle is no longer going to be available for purchase. So, in today's video, I'll be giving you a review on this vehicle, stacking it up to its other Imani Tech counterparts, and letting you know by the end of the video if it's worth the purchase. Let's get into it! Today's video is going to have a few different categories. The first category is going to be upgrades. How does this vehicle look when it's fully customized? What are the upgrade options it has, liveries, and all the customization available? Because let's be honest, if you're dropping $2 million just to get this vehicle in your garage, and then probably adding an additional $1 million on all the Imani Tech upgrades and customization, you definitely want the vehicle to look nice, and that's definitely a factor I value a lot as well. So we're going to take a look at how the vehicle upgrades and the customization it has. The second category is going to be its handling, top speed, lap time, all the important things when it comes to a sports car, how it handles and compares to a lot of the other Imani Tech vehicles. And finishing off, we're going to take a look at how well it is on explosion resistance compared as well to its other Imani Tech counterparts. So let's start off with the upgradability. I've already put a livery on the vehicle and changed the paint job. That way it's a lot easier to see what a lot of the splitter and bumper options do rather than looking at a black vehicle. So we're going to give it the body armor upgrade, which is not cheap, $150,000. And I gotta be honest, there's a bit of a bug with the body armor, and I'll actually show you it right now. If we make our way to livery, if you change the livery, as you will see, it actually bugs out, and the armor goes over the livery. I do not know how Rockstar managed to mess this up. For example, the Virtue, which is also Imani Tech, does not get bugged out by the armor plates, but this one does. So if you're planning on putting any liveries on this vehicle, make sure that the one you pick does not get blocked by the literal armor plates on the side. That is why I personally put on just the normal red offset stripe, which we can see down the center, because it can't actually block anything on the side. It's a bit unfortunate, but that's just kind of how the vehicle is. This here is just a brief overview of me customizing the car. There's a couple cool options here and there, but honestly, the bumpers and the side fenders aren't all too exciting. When it comes to the spoiler options, there's some decent choices, but yeah, I will say customization-wise, this vehicle is definitely not nearly as impressive, especially when you compare it to a lot of the vehicles in the tuners class. And there you have it. The vehicle is fully upgraded. It's a lot of customization, but it actually looks pretty sweet. I gotta be real. I really like the design of this vehicle in real life, which is based off the new Nissan Z, and this vehicle looks amazing in Grand Theft Auto as well. So when it comes to looks, it's definitely holding up its value. I gotta be honest, this vehicle looks absolutely amazing. Now, does it look as good as the Virtue, which is the new supercar available for free? Well, personally, I don't think so. I think the Virtue is actually one of the nicest looking supercars in the game currently. I mean, this vehicle looks amazing. So it's tough competition, but to be honest, it's a pretty nice looking car. It's sleek, but it's got a lot of aggressive angles, and I really like that. Now, when it comes to Imani Tech vehicles, there's a couple different types. For example, you've got Imani Tech vehicles with semi-bulletproof glass, like the Buffalo STX, or a lot of the other ones, like the Deity. However, the two new Imani Tech vehicles, like the Virtue or as well the 300R, do not have bulletproof glass. And we can see that, well, if I can actually hit the glass, we can see that right here. Bullet goes directly through the glass, and that is exactly the case you're going to find with this vehicle as well. The glass is not bulletproof whatsoever. So that's a bit unfortunate when it comes to this vehicle, at least in that category. The Annis 300R sits in the sports class, and you would expect for a vehicle that cost over $2 million, probably $3.5 million once you get all the upgrades on it, that it would be pretty impressive on performance. But unfortunately, that's just not the case. The 300R has a top speed of 120 miles per hour, which is actually the same as the Virtue, except it handles much, much worse, sitting in at 38th place out of the 99 sports cars with a top speed, and 32nd out of the 99 sports cars with lap time, at 1 minute 3 seconds, 0.881. To point out to you how poor the performance is on this vehicle for a newer vehicle in Grand Theft Auto, if we compare it to the Buffalo STX, the Buffalo STX sits at a top speed of 126.25 miles per hour, and not only that, but the Buffalo STX also has an incredibly good lap time of 1 minute 3 seconds, 0.463, especially judging that the STX is a muscle car and not a sports car. To showcase the sheer difference on handling between the Ocelot Virtue and Annis 300R, I figured we'd do this week's time trial. This week's time trial is 1 minute and 50 seconds. It's a 2.5 mile drive. It's not too challenging. There's a couple sharp corners here and there, and you definitely got to keep an eye out for traffic, but apart from that, it's not too bad at all, and it'll be a pretty good baseline benchmark to showcase a very easy way how different the handling is on the 300R to the Ocelot Virtue. I also figured that some people might try and make the argument this is a sports car and the Virtue is a supers car, therefore it's unfair to compare these two vehicles. And my argument against that is you're not going to be using either of these vehicles in races. Well, maybe the Virtue, because the Virtue is actually decent at supers when it comes to the racing category, but I would never ever pick this vehicle when it comes to doing a race in the sports class. I mean, the Pariah and the Grotti RSX absolutely crap on this vehicle when it comes to handling and top speed, so I don't really find that as a valid argument. I'd more compare both of these vehicles when it comes to an online session and how they're gonna work on keeping me alive from the Oppressor Mark II chasing me. So we've cut about a minute down on the time and we're making our way through. The handling on this vehicle is not bad, but I wouldn't call it amazing either, especially when you realize that this vehicle's acceleration is not all that impressive. Right now we're just making our way through though. We've got about a minute and 18 seconds on our clock and 0.5 miles to go. I have no clue if we're actually going to beat the part time. I would be honestly surprised if we managed to, but let's keep on going. That's my best time right now that we've just got about 10 seconds left to beat, and as you can see, we still got 0.2 miles to go before we even make it to the destination. So we got to go around this corner here, and then keep on going, and we have finally made it to the pier. The problem with that is we only have about 5 seconds left. Come on, we can do it. We can do it, and we actually were able to beat the part time with a 1 minute 48.958. But now you're going to see just how much better the Virtue is. Before we start, I want you to compare the sheer acceleration the Virtue has compared to the 300R. It is absolutely insane. In fact, I don't think there's a single vehicle in the game that doesn't have a speed boost that can out-accelerate the Virtue up to its top speed. Now, you could make the argument that the Virtue only goes 120, which isn't that fast for the Supers class. However, when you keep in mind that the Annis 300R also only goes 120, it kind of asks you, why would you ever drive the 300R when this vehicle exists? We're going to put on our brakes a little here, squeeze through there. All right, not too bad at all so far. I will definitely admit this. It is a lot harder to drive the Virtue. I mean, this vehicle is incredibly jank to drive. It feels like you're sticking your fingers into an open AC socket every second. I mean, this vehicle is scary, but if you're able to overcome the fear factor and you're actually able to drive the vehicle correctly, it is an incredibly fast vehicle to drive. We are at 55 seconds on the clock and we got 1.2 miles left to go, which I'm not exactly sure how that is compared to how we were doing in the 300R, but I guess we're going to find out when we actually make it to the end. We're going to take the sidewalk here, which is what I did with the 300R, and keep on going. But again, I mean, the speed on this vehicle is just insane. You are always going your top speed, which just allows you to never have to worry about braking or anything like that. So let's slow down a little bit about here. There you go. Nice. And then keep on going around this corner. I can already tell you we are doing much better because I'm not getting a countdown for my lap. And there you go. Now we're getting a countdown. I did kind of mess up at the end there, but I don't think it's going to matter all too much, as, I mean, we beat it by quite a bit just now. 1 minute 39 seconds. That was about 10 seconds better than what we got in the Annis 300R. 10 seconds is absolutely monstrous when it comes to this type of race. I mean, in racing terms, 10 seconds is literally losing a sponsorship distance, which is insane when you think about it. However, while those categories are pretty important, especially if you want a fast sports car, the most important category, at least in my eyes, has to do with the explosive resistance and the armor protection that a vehicle like the Anis 300R carries. So, in front of you, we have 4 Imani Tech variants. We have the Buffalo STX, a 4-seater muscle car, which, as we said, is pretty dang fast and capable for what it is. We have the Ocelot Virtue, which is the new supercar, incredibly fast on acceleration, and just flat out better when it comes to performance and handling to the Anis 300R. And finally, we have the Obey Ominous EGT, which as of right now can survive the most explosions compared to all the rest. But we're gonna find out if that's the case. I actually have not tested out how many explosions the Virtue can handle, nor have I tested out the 300R. So we're gonna find out for the final part how many explosions the 300R can take. We're gonna be doing this by 2 different tests. The first one is I'm just gonna drive the vehicle out into the open and then shoot homing missiles at it until it blows up. Then I'm gonna get inside of the vehicle and drop sticky bombs outside of the car and blow them up that way. It'll simulate me being inside of the vehicle, and we'll see how many explosions it can take. We're gonna start this test off with the Buffalo STX. Let's start off by just shooting it with the homing missiles. There is a 1. No, we got 2. All right, still not blown up. Here comes our 3rd missile. Okay, it survived 3. It's smoking, so I'm guessing, yeah, it took 3 missiles. The 4th one blew it up. Alright, this time I'm going to drop some grenades out, and we're going to see how many explosions it can survive. Actually, grenades seem to take a little while to blow up, so we're just going to use sticky bombs. That is the first explosion inside of the vehicle. This is the 2nd explosion. 3rd explosion, and wow, this vehicle does not survive a lot of sticky bombs. Now, I do know that homing missiles have a different coefficient of damage compared to weapons like sticky bombs, but still, the fact that my Buffalo STX only survived 2 explosions and the 3rd one blew it up, yeah, that's actually not that impressive, to be honest. Now we have the 300R out. We're going to start off once again by just shooting homing missiles at it. 1, 2... Okay, not too bad so far. 3. Oh boy, I see smoke. And 4. Oh, that's actually not too bad. 5. Oh wow, this thing's doing a lot better. And 6. Okay, that is quite a bit better than the Buffalo STX. Now, that does make sense because the Buffalo STX has semi-bulletproof glass, which means if you try cutting through it with a machine gun, it's going to take a couple shots. Personally, I don't love the semi-bulletproof glass because, let's be real, a minigun cuts through that glass in one single hit, which a lot of tryhards use to begin with, and they'll definitely know to use a minigun against anybody in an Imani Tech vehicle. So I don't actually mind a vehicle not having the explosive or the damage-resistant glass, especially when a vehicle like the 300R has more explosion resistance. 6 homing missiles is not a bad result at all. Now we're going to try the same test, but this time from the inside. There is 1 sticky bomb, 2 sticky bombs, 3 sticky bombs, 4. Okay, you know what? That was a bit more. It was only, what, 2 sticky bombs that the STX survived. This one was 4. So it's a little better. It's not a crazy amount, but that's still a heck of a lot better, at least than the STX. So now we're going to see how this vehicle compares to a vehicle like the Virtue. Here comes the first missile. Wow, that thing went flying. 2 missiles. 3 missiles. Okay, I'm not seeing any smoke yet. 4 missiles. Not too bad. 5 missiles. There you go. So the Ocelot Virtue can survive 4 missiles, the 5th one blowing it up. Now we're going to try it, but I'm going to get inside of the Virtue. Something I should point out that seems to be a bit of a downside for the Ocelot Virtue is you cannot use explosive devices while driving the vehicle, where you are able to with other vehicles, especially in the Imani Tech category. What that means is we're going to have to get out of the vehicle, get inside, and then blow up the explosion. So that was the first one. Now we got to flip the vehicle all the way over, get out again, and put on our second sticky bomb. Okay, and 2. Alright, I will say one thing that seems to be a very big downside for a vehicle like the Ocelot Virtue is the fact that this thing gets absolutely flown when you are inside of it, which is not the best. Alright, that is our 3rd sticky bomb. I have a feeling it is not going to survive 4, but we're going to find out. As of now, there is no smoke or any sign that this vehicle is going to blow up, so here's the 4th. Okay, not too bad, actually. Alright, our 5th sticky bomb now. Here we go. Oh, I don't know if that's actually in the vehicle, but you know what? Doesn't matter. 5th. Wow, okay, this thing has survived 5 sticky bombs. Now, the reason I'm actually surprised is because a vehicle like the Buffalo STX does not survive anywhere near this. 6 sticky bombs. Okay, this is very surprising. All right, let's place another sticky bomb. 7 sticky bombs. Wow, okay, I am thoroughly impressed at this point. We're at 7 sticky bombs? I don't even understand that. Okay, let's put another one on. Here we go, and 8 sticky bombs. Does this thing just not blow up from sticky bombs or something? I mean, it's not moving anymore. I think it's broken, but I'm not sure. I'm very confused. Let me place another one on. 8 sticky bombs. I think I counted that correctly, but 8 sticky bombs? Holy crap, that is incredibly impressive. The Virtue survived way more sticky bombs than I thought it was going to be able to, and yeah, that vehicle is an S tier when it comes to explosion resistance. Next up, we have the Obey Ominous EGT. Here comes our first missile. Now, I have a feeling the EGT is going to do the best, but I guess we'll find out. There's our second, third, fourth, 5th, 6th. Okay, I think that's the same as the Virtue, if I'm not mistaken. So if we get 8 explosions while inside the vehicle, I guess it'll be the same resistance as the Virtue, which would honestly make sense, because at the end of the day, the Virtue is also an electric vehicle. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Does it still drive? Yes, it does. 8, 9. Oh my god, this thing still drives. I'm pretty sure this one is, what? 10? Okay. Okay. 11, 12. I actually think if I remember correctly, it was supposed to survive 12 RPG rounds. That's pretty impressive. I mean, I always get surprised with how dang impressive the Obey Ominous EGT is. I always thought it was 10 for some reason. I think I made a video saying it was 12, but I've always just had the idea that it's 10 homing missiles or 10 RPGs. But no, it turns out it's 12, which is absolutely insane. So the Virtue can survive 8. The EGT can survive an additional 4 more. That is huge. That's like a 50% extra amount of explosions the EGT can survive. So definitely when it comes to survivability, the EGT is the way to go. But the Virtue is a lot faster and it's a lot more enjoyable to drive, so I'm actually still going to say the Virtue edges out the EGT, not on survivability, but just the fact that the vehicle is better itself on performance. It kind of edges out the EGT, and especially because it's free right now. When you have vehicles available like, more specifically, the Obey Ominous EGT and as well the Ocelot Virtue, which are both cheaper by a lot. I mean, the Virtue, as I said, is free, and even the EGT is still about $400,000 less than the 300R. I don't really understand the point. I mean, this vehicle does not get bulletproof glass, and it's not faster than the Virtue, nor can it survive more rounds than the Virtue. The only advantage you have in the 300R is the fact that you can throw explosive devices out of the window where you can't with the Virtue. But honestly, the fact that the Virtue's so much faster and it's free is just an absolute win. And when it comes to the EGT, this vehicle is better in every single way. You can throw explosive devices out of the window. It can seat 4 people. It's incredibly fast on acceleration. It's actually pretty similar on lap time to the 300R. It's all-wheel drive, which makes it better at handling. It can survive literally 4 times the explosions. And it's just, I mean, it's just better in every way. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Annis 300R, and this is my review on it. Kind of a waste of money. It's not a bad car if you're just buying it to be somewhat armored and as well a pretty cool looking vehicle. I think the look of this car is absolutely amazing. I'm a big fan of the Nissan Z and the new sports car that Nissan's released in real life, and this is based off of it, so I'm a big fan of this vehicle. The difference is, in real life, the Nissan Z is a $40,000 sports car, which is meant to be a budget sports car. In GTA, this is not a $40,000 vehicle. It is, in fact, one of the most expensive sports cars in the game. If Rockstar wanted to make this worth the money, at least in my eyes, they should have made it either a lot better against explosion resistance, it should have had semi-bulletproof glass, both, or, even better, a much better top speed and handling coefficient. Hopefully you enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye!